Hello, hi everybody. So today we'll talk a bit on Luminus quiz. I know Luminus is not an easy beast to be tamed, but let's try to make good use of it today. Today's focus will be on how do you use Luminus quiz to prevent cheatings and how do you beautify your questions. We have four topics. One is we give you some general tips, and second is how to make use of randomization. And we'll talk mostly on fill in the code questions and some SOP for Luminus quiz. Why do we want to use Luminus quiz if there's so many bugs and so on? But I think Luminus is still good in some ways. You don't need to install additional softwares. More software makes more risk for students to fail. Also, the other good things is Luminus directly connect to IMS and Gradebook, so you have less error when you transfer the marks. And there's other good tips too. I think I like the real-time control of Luminus quiz. First, we talk about the general tips. In Luminus quiz settings, I will set the password for security, but I think the other important usage for that is for timing control. I will let everybody set tolls on the attendance and whatever, but I will use the password to control the starting time. It's like ready, set, go. When I release the password, everybody start. The second thing, this is tips I learned from my painful experiences that don't change the Luminus quiz visible timing when you started the quiz. There was one time I changed it and everybody just got kicked out of the quiz, and then the quiz just had to end. The third one I use it as some tricks is the background colors. I'll change it to some weird colors. So I ensure the student will have that color on the screen in order to make sure they're taking that quiz. We go to the second part is randomization. I think Luminus provide two types of randomization. One is randomizing the answers, in which you can actually, if it's multiple choice, you can randomize the choices of A, B, C, D, E. The other one is you can randomize within a section. Okay, for example, you can actually change the order, and actually you can change the number of questions. So what I usually do is I would divide my question for different difficulties. For example, there's a time complexity questions. There's the easy difficulties and medium difficulties and hard difficulties. I will set, for example, there are 6 questions for easy, but actually the student will have a randomly chosen 2 out of them. Yeah. And of course, we need some planning. Usually I would do it on Microsoft Word first. So I actually divide them easy, medium, and hard. And the good thing about randomization of answers is you can actually make it in your own documentation such that all the A's answers are the correct answers. Before we go to the next topics, usually I will check if my easy, medium, and hard are really easy and medium and hard by the result. For example, this one, you can see the easy correct rate and the medium correct rate and the hard correct rate should be distinguishable. Other than these 2 tips for randomization, remember, if you use randomization of the answers, don't say all of the above or none of the above, because you may not be the last option that all of the above. So rather than you say all the answers are correct or none of the answers are correct. And make good use of the question bank for creating slightly variant questions. For example, if I create MST computations, so I actually can use the same question format, put it in the question bank, and just change the trees or the graphs for different computation of MST. I would like to go to the next session about filling the codes, because it's actually not easy for students to do full coding in quizzes or exam, because first, you may have your PEs already, and second is unfair to ask students to do correct coding without any IDE. But actually, the real reason is you cannot mark them because they will be full of syntax errors without the IDE. So the solution I usually do is to do fill in the blanks coding. However, the problem of Luminus is Luminus cannot handle indentation. That means they don't display indentation. All the indentations are lost. For example, if you use C, it's still okay, but it's very ugly looking. Python, forget about it. Okay, but also the other cursed thing is they actually treat your text like HTML. If your HTML have all this HTML special character, you lose all your display. So the solution for that is you convert everything into HTML. Okay, so what I would do is if I have a piece of code, I actually will use some code highlighter to convert it into HTML, and then I paste this HTML into Luminus. I click source first and then paste it into Luminus. And after you unclick the source, you should be able to see your nicely formatted code in Luminus. Furthermore, you can actually change this code into some field in the blank questions. For example, I can actually select a part of the code I want the student to fill in. I select that and I add blank in order to replace that code. Then you can actually create a blank. You can actually put some default code for Luminus to Max. But I would say I won't rely on Luminus to Max because first of all this code filling question, you may have variations. For example, you can see I can either do S-1 or this also are correct. And second one is Luminus cannot handle space. You can see here this year I have to create the same version, the same answer with different spacing. So instead, what I would usually do is I export it to some Excel files, and then I actually extract it to run the code. Okay, that's what we did for quite some years. I think it's okay, except the script writing is a bit complicated, but I think we're computer scientists, we're good at it. So yeah, that's what I did. Lastly, we talk about some SOP on Luminus quiz, which is different from other quiz. Of course, we include the blah, 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 the same ID checkings and attendance. So as I mentioned, I will use the quiz password to control the starting time. I will release the password so everybody start. But one tips or one precaution is some students don't know why miraculously they want to delay the starting. Maybe they prepare for cheating, or I don't know. So if I do a Luminus quiz, I will use the result to check which are the students who didn't start yet, and I have to force them to start. If they start late, they may end late. So I also use the result to check if the students ends late. And if the student really need to end maybe 50 minutes after everybody have finished, I may have to force them to finish the quiz. Okay, so there's a time control to control everybody to start and end at the same time. So I hope these all tips are useful for you. And finally, I hope that you never met any Luminus bugs. Actually, there's a lot, but I didn't talk about this. If you have any comment and question, please let me know or leave your comment below. Thank you for everyone.